Joining me now is celebrity and royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, let's start with a reaction to Meghan Markle's new cooking show. I should say Meghan Sussex because she prefers that these days. It's called With Love, Meghan. It's been ripped to pieces by the critics, with the deciders, Megan O'Keefe, calling the show out of touch and labelling Meghan as less Martha Stewart, more Marie Antoinette. That's harsh. And she also noted the show feels inherently narcissistic, and that it isn't a show designed for the audience, but crafted as an experience for the host. This is a very odd little project. It's supposed to showcase, I don't know, her cooking skills alongside some of her long-term friends, but she's cooking with a makeup artist, if you can even call it cooking. At one point, from what I understand, she removes pretzels from one bag and then puts them somewhere else in another bag. I mean, is that really a cooking program? And if you've got paid staff doing it with you, pretending to be your long-term mates, I don't know. It just doesn't feel very authentic to me.
I mean, your long-term mate, who you're not aware of, this person has a peanut butter allergy. She writes on the bag like peanut butter, and then says, in case he has a peanut butter allergy, doesn't know that he's left-handed. This has been your makeup artist for how many years? And when he slices his hand open, you're surprised when he tells you he's left-handed. I mean, none of it makes sense, Rita. But that's not even that's one of my favorite review headlines. Another was from Variety, who, don't forget, Meghan Markle loves the Variety. She gives them access to her. She was on the cover of their magazine shortly after Queen Elizabeth died. But their review title was, With Love, Meghan is a Montecito ego trip not worth taking. That's all it is. It's a vanity project. Ooh. And I can tell you haven't watched it, and I wish to God I could be there with you on the couch, because your commentary would be the best of them all.
I could not sit through the whole thing. I just couldn't. No, I would need a lot of alcohol too. No, not even with alcohol could you sit through this. And it's, again, from what little I've seen of it, it's not really something that is aspirational. It's not something you watch and go, I wish I could be doing that. I wish I could be making candles in some mansion, or, you know, playing with my, like, it's just bizarre because it's not reality-based, it's not raw and real, and it's also doesn't have that aspirational thing, because I don't think anyone watching it would be coveting that experience. But anyway, this is Meghan Markle we're talking about. A body language expert, Judy James, has said that Meghan really felt uncomfortable with Drew Barrymore's relentless clinginess during her appearance on that show. Tell us about this, Kinsey.
Well, this is one of our favorite topics, right? Just how gross Drew Barrymore can be when it comes to her physical activity with her guests. And yeah, the body language. Yes, and the body language expert says that Meghan's kind of met her match, because Meghan's usually the one that's very physical with people, always hugging people, always hugging strangers when they're at engagements, and holding children's hands and dragging them around all over the engagement. But the body language expert says, like, Drew is so over the top that Meghan is physically uncomfortable. But I did catch a minute of the interview where Meghan's hand is actually holding Drew's. So get your barf bag ready. It premieres tomorrow. Thoughts and prayers. I don't think I'm mentally prepared.
Oh, gosh, no, that's going to be too much for me again. And Jon Stewart looks set to interview Elon Musk, with the Daily Show host officially inviting Musk onto the program after he agreed to honour Musk's request that it air unedited. Yes, there's some trust issues in this relationship, Kinsey. I reckon it's going to be a fascinating exchange if it takes place. It might be a hostile exchange. And let's remind people just how fascinating Elon Musk can be in interviews. Here he is with Joe Rogan, with this tidbit about fellow billionaire and founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman.
They kept saying convicted felon, convicted felon. And everybody knows what it is.
Yes.
It's terrifying. Yeah. It's terrifying they could do it so brazenly to a guy who was the president for 4 years.
Right. That lawsuit was funded by Reid Hoffman, who is a major Dem donor. And also an Epstein client. The plot thickens.
The plot thickens.
Yes, Reid Hoffman is a terrible character, if you ask me. Just another reason not to be on LinkedIn. But is this interview going to take place? Are we going to see Stewart up against Musk?
I think we will. Musk is putting himself out there a lot more lately. And have you noticed how Jon Stewart has been defending people like Joe Rogan and Theo Von and, saying, I think that Jon Stewart is kind of going into Bill Maher territory a little bit more than I ever imagined.
Well, Jon Stewart, I've got to say, was one of the few who deviated from the groupthink when it came to COVID and the origins of COVID. He was amongst the very first who said it is frankly absurd to accept the official explanation back then. Of course, now it's widely accepted that it came from a lab in Wuhan, but back then it was taboo to even mention it. Now let's go to growing concerns about Justin Bieber's mental health. His personal assistant, Mateo Kolders, has quit due to Bieber's bizarre recent behaviour. That's according to reports. What's wrong with Justin, Kinsey?
Well, let me tell you, I actually heard from Justin's camp about this because I couldn't believe this story. They told me that this guy was fired a while ago and that Justin is not doing hard drugs, is what they said to me. Now, what I will say to you is I follow Justin on Instagram, and he's doing too many not hard drugs. I mean, he's constantly posting smoking weed. He's looking very thin, almost ill, and his behavior seems really bizarre lately. But according to my Bieber sources, they say this guy got the boot a while ago, and this is a non-story.
Yeah, but the erratic behaviour is the erratic behaviour, whatever this guy's motivations may be. Just quickly before you go, Adidas has finally got rid of all its Yeezy inventory after the brand entered the lucrative sneaker and sportswear deal with Kanye West in 2022 over his anti-Semitic comments. How come it's taken so long?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure that they just had plenty of inventory, but I will tell you, Kanye was spotted wearing a T-shirt with a swastika design on Thursday here in LA. No better time to purge. Like, no better time to purge. I can't deal with this anymore.
What is happening with Kanye? Is he getting a divorce from Australian Bianca Sensori? Were they ever really married? Don't have long, 10 seconds. What's the status of that relationship?
I think it's pending. I think it's inevitable.
Inevitable. It's complicated. It's always complicated. Yeah. Kinsey Schofield, thank you so much for your time tonight.